Hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm David. We got to talk about the Survivor finale. I'm a bit shook. And Sarah, you look like $1,000,000 tonight.
Oh
Okay.
my God. Thank you. I did not win $1 million, but congratulations to
Yes.
Erica.
Cheers to
Wow.
her.
It's been a while since we've had a female.
I'm
She also
thrilled.
broke a bunch of records about Canadian, Philippines.
Yes.
I don't have them all. Sorry.
Right.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. Right. Yeah.
But first, before we dive in, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe because we got lots of content, and also give this video a thumbs up.
Yes, and we are also on Patreon, patreon.com/nerdtainment. There's a link in the description. You can support us over there. Join us. We have a Discord.
You can, that's right. Join us. Join the cult. Join us. Yes. Drink that wine. Cheers, your favorite bubbly, because we got ourselves a new winner. We got ourselves a fantastic finale. Lots of different things happened. So we're going to start from the top. We're going to talk about all of it. David and I, unfortunately, couldn't watch together.
I know.
We usually watch our finales together. So that was a bummer.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't know how you felt about everything. So I'm excited to talk about it.
I know. Well, Sarah, we're starting off with your favorite, Jeff, with his Oprah moment, right?
Oh,
walking down the beach. Walk and talk.
Yes. He's ready. We got like video screens of the final 5.
Yes.
They really were like, we're not leaving the beach. So let's really do it up.
This is it.
And honestly,
we're going to build it up. We're going to convince you that you don't want the live audience finale. You want the votes read tonight. Isn't that cool? Remember how cool that was? It's so cool. We haven't done it in 20 years and we're doing it again.
So cool that we're forced to do it now, but it's cool. It is cool. And honestly, I liked it. I liked it. So great. Well, thank you for your Oprah moment, Jeff. Couldn't get enough of them this season, but back to the Survivor castaways. They're on a boat to a new beach.
They're starting over at this, final 5 moment. And Xander is thrilled about it. He's like, great. I want these other people starved and stumbling and cold. And that just allows me to rise to the top. This is perfect.
He doesn't need food, apparently. He doesn't need sleep. He's fine. And this is going to benefit him. Ray, you benefit us. Thank you so much for this super chat. Appreciate you hanging out with us all season long. Here we are. Okay. Yeah. So Deshaun and Erica, though, they need to repair a couple things. And you know what? Erica's not ready.
I loved that. I'm actually not ready to talk to you. That is the mark of a good Survivor player, where she's like, I'm going to say something that I can't take back. So let's just hit pause for now. You're welcome. And he's like, oh, okay. I'm welcome.
The fact you're still here, though. You are welcome. Actually, she was like, just sit on that, ponder that while I'm not ready to talk to you. The CAC 16, thank you for the super sticker.
Wow, the generosity right off the bat, y'all. Thank you.
So lovely. Deshaun actually should have taken note. There were a few times that Deshaun probably should have been like, put it on pause.
Just like
circle back tomorrow. Light of day. A little bit of
that. But he's just kind of like, I hope it caused a rift. That was the whole point of this. So like, hopefully I've split up Erica and Heather a little bit. He's kind of recognizing that they're a duo that, he now hopes that he's taken care of. Meanwhile, Erica is talking to Ricard and she's like, it felt personal. And he's like, it was personal, Erica.
It did. It sure did. I mean, there's a lot here with Deshaun being like, Ricard's the target. And Ricard being like, Deshaun's the target. How could he?
What a snake
Yes.
Deshaun is. I'm glad we all see it now.
Yeah.
That he is the worst. And he's just like, woo, yes, thank you, Deshaun. I hope this alienates you more. I hope this makes you more of a target because that means the target is off of me. This is good for my game.
Great. This is great. But also, Heather is mad and not talking to Erica.
Yeah, Erica's on damage control. She's like, scale of 1 to 10. And Heather's like, it's not even on the scale.
No,
Erica.
I'm not talking scales.
I'm not going to even comment on that. And
Erica's kind of like, really? Are we taking this personal? I'm also like, really? Heather has any agency whatsoever to be upset with you?
Yeah.
Like, be mad at Deshaun.
Yeah.
But
well, it turns out, it turns out that's what she says later.
I have a different theory about that.
In this moment, she's mad at Erica, you know?
Okay.
And Erica's just kind of like, I don't know how to move forward with Deshaun. Like, I really don't see a path towards us.
How do you?
Here,
I mean, you already said it at Tribal. You cannot trust him. You guys have been back and forth. And honestly, if you kind of step back and look at the whole season, there has been this back and forth between Deshaun and Erica. He wanted to throw a challenge just to get Erica out.
Oh my
Remember
God.
those days? It has been a back and forth. They talk, they go against each other. And Erica is like, I can't anymore. Like, done with this here. Sheena 123, thank you so much. Such a great job on the season. Wish you were in the same room, but you two are remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for the Canadian dollars in honor of Erica. Our new winner.
Erica. I love that she said at the end, this is a lot of money in Canada. So.
I know. Like, thank you. I will take that full check. This is great.
This is fantastic. Well, get into the game.
Twist, right?
Yes. Let's do a scavenger hunt. Let's solve a puzzle. Let's do this. And I'm thinking, Ricard, this is you, buddy, all day. You got this.
Yeah, I was a bit shocked that Xander figured it out first. This, Sarah, is my jam. I was like unscrambling those words on the screen. And then I just love like a jumble puzzle like that. So I was like, oh, I would have lived to like figure this one out, but I was a bit surprised to see, Xander solve it first, but Ricard's quickly after him, then Deshaun, then Heather. Erica's like the last one to figure out that this phrase is your treasure hangs where the trees love to dance, which I'm still not sure I understand what that means.
No, because all the trees technically dance. And the one that she found it at was not dancing any more than the other trees.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Let's be real. Erica stumbled onto this advantage.
She stumbled. There was no like, oh, I know where the trees dance. Let me go there. It was like, I'm wandering around aimlessly and here I found the advantage.
She's like, all the people who got it ran that way. I guess I'll go this way and stumbled onto it. But nonetheless, she has the advantage now. And she's going to show Ricard.
Yeah. And she's going to show Heather. And they're both going to be like, let's not show Deshaun. Just let him wander.
This was so funny for the edit where they cut to Deshaun just being like, where are you? Like, that's cute and funny. But cut to the challenge when she brings it up. Deshaun is like, what? He genuinely had, I thought he would have found out it at some point.
Yep. But no. He had
not
no
at all.
Clue. Yeah.
Books and Quirks. Thank you for the super sticker.
You guys, this is a lot tonight. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
We do. All right. So it is an advantage for the challenge. I am happy at this moment because I was slightly concerned that this is going to be like basically an idol. Somehow you are safe and making it to, Final Four. And so it being just an advantage in the challenge made me feel a lot better.
Sure.
I'm just a little
it's a pretty significant advantage though here because
sure does.
They have to knock the rope rungs off, build this ladder, maneuver puzzle pieces up this other ladder, and then build a 75-piece puzzle, which at this point in the game is probably like a 10,000-piece puzzle, brain-wise, because they're like so depleted. So this is a very intense challenge. But we know that it's going to come down to the puzzle ultimately.
Yeah.
But Erica's got a leg up, literally in some ways, where she's got 4 rope rungs already knocked off, and then her puzzle pieces are already 4 rungs up the second ladder. And that
Yeah.
ends up saving her a lot of time.
That was huge.
Yeah.
And at first, I only understood the 4. Like, I thought she just had 4 steps already made in her ladder.
Me too.
But then when she's doing the first part, Jeff's like, she's already in the lead because she has 4 less to gather.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, she had such a big lead here. And she's great at puzzles. Like, that's one thing we do know about Erica. We don't know much because she's barely been in this edit, guys. But that's another story that maybe we'll get to later. But we do know she's good at puzzles. I also feel like Ricard is good at puzzles, and he's right behind her.
I think if Erica had not had the advantage, Ricard would have won this.
Yeah.
He was really close. You know, there's like some drama with Xander forgetting a rope rung along the way, right? And Heather's like perpetually in last place, but she never gives up. Like, these are the story beats we're getting. But everybody eventually gets to the puzzle. Xander was building his puzzle vertically, which was kind of strange to me. I was like, okay, like, you definitely don't get lost in terms of which pieces you've figured out. Like, I can see if everything's laid out, you kind of forget which pieces you've placed maybe, but I was just like, this feels like an unnecessary step.
Yeah.
And
I
then
did
they
not
zoom
think
in.
it was going to help him.
Yeah, and then they zoom in at one point on Ricard's piece on the floor, which doesn't end up going anywhere because Erica's so far ahead. But I do think like that maybe would have mattered, again, had Erica not had such a significant leg up here, because Ricard was doing well on the puzzle, and we know that he's super sharp mentally.
I mean, when they zoomed in on that piece on the floor, I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to be it? Like, he passes Erica, and then, but he can't get this piece. He's looking for it. No, it did not turn out to be anything. Erica's plenty in the lead, and she just keeps that lead. And yeah, Erica's going to win immunity.
Yep.
This is the first time for her. Oh yeah, and reward. And we know, even though the edit is not hitting us over the head with it at this point, but we know that Ricard is the vote here. Like, Ricard needed to win immunity, or he is the easy vote. I was actually surprised that they weren't hitting us over the head with it. She's going to get a reward of steak and veggies and wine.
And bread, yes. And it's for 2. And she very smartly picks Heather. Like, even if she didn't have any like damage control to do with Heather, like, you pick Heather because you don't need to arm Deshawn, Ricard, you know, Xander with any extra fuel going into that final immunity challenge. Fuel Heather up. I think it's okay. It's fine to do that.
Yeah, and honestly, repair that relationship, because if she's sitting in the jury, let's not have her confused about your actual, were you really friends? Were you really working together? Just take care of that, nip that in the bud. Great choice to take Heather. And Heather's like, all of the sudden, like, no. I wasn't upset with you.
Yeah. Now that she's sitting over a gorgeous steak meal with like 3 bottles of red wine and loaves of bread to her heart's content, she's like, no, I mean, Erica's having a genuine moment of like crying about like, this relationship really is special to me. And you are not necessarily someone I would have walked in here and thought like, that's going to be my buddy coming out of this. But like, that's what makes Survivor so beautiful. And, you know, she's crying, thinking about
they
like,
do have
I don't want you to think.
Great emotional connection, and we kind of learn more. Again, edit. We didn't know that they really had this like deep friendship, that they really rely on each other. We just, you know that they're a pair of some sort. Yes, so sorry. I forgot that Erica did win that immunity.
She did.
When we had the 2 people win. So apologies for that. So this is her second immunity win at this point. David, you and I do talk about the edit from time to time. And the last soundbite we get before we go to commercial here is Xander saying, obviously Ricard is the vote here. Like, we have to get Ricard out. This is the time to get Ricard out. And I was like,
okay.
But wait, the soundbite before the commercial is the one that doesn't happen. But they're going to take Ricard out, right? So I'm just telling you, I'm confused at this point.
Is this going into Tribal?
No. This was right after the competition, right after the challenge.
See. Okay.
So we're coming back from commercial. We're going to get this reward. But I was like, wait, they know to take out Ricard, right? Well, so I was just from this point on, I'm real confused because I'm thinking,
you're like,
wait, is Ricard not going to be voted out at this point?
Yeah. Well, I was a bit confused once they get into all of the like strategy talk. They threw me off a little bit. They threw me off the scent with this because, you know, we get Erica and Heather basically saying like, well, it's got to be Ricard or Deshawn. Like Xander's not even on the table. They know he has the idol. They're not bothering to talk about that. And then we see the guys together, you know, and it's totally awkward of like, so we're just writing down each other, right? Like it's you or me, right? And it's like a little bit awkward. And then Ricard is going to work and he's telling Erica, you know, Deshawn and I have come clean. We're voting for each other. And then Erica's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Gosh, this one's tough. And he's like disgusted that Erica is torn, you know, and it's like,
he's like,
you got to recognize that you're the best one here.
Yes. He's like, what? How dare she be conflicted and weighing her options? Why isn't she so mad at Deshawn? And you're like, hi, we are at Final Five. We shouldn't be playing with our emotions and just vote people out because we're upset with them. I mean, I was interested at the fact that Heather was like, Deshawn doesn't deserve it. Like, as if that weighed in at all. I mean, some people would factor that in, but interesting to just hear it at all. And of course, they're going to have to throw it in the edit to make us think that there might be any other option here. But Ricard is going to do some work because it's, you know, it's not a given here.
He's going to reveal some info that he has not revealed all season. This is his Hail Mary to tell Xander, my baby is due next week. You know, it might already be born, right? Xander is getting visibly emotional. Who knows, you know, if that's genuine or game or whatever, but he's like, oh my God, you're going to be a second time father. And he's like hugging Ricard. And then what kind of threw me here was that it wasn't just a confessional where Xander was like, I've got this idol. Maybe I could play it for Ricard. He says it to Ricard. So I'm like, what is that? What is the thinking there to like even throw that out?
Let me tell you.
Is it jury management?
No, it's Xander being Xander. I was almost like this edit. We have seen this before. This is the boy who cried wolf. How many times did he sit in a moment? He felt something. He's a genuine person in the moment. And he's like, I could save you. Yeah. We saw this so many times.
We saw it with Evie, didn't we?
Steps away. Yeah, but we saw it multiple times with Evie. Yeah. He didn't play it on her twice. And this is the third time he is telling someone. He's at least the third. It might be more. I felt like it was every other week where he said he might play his idol on someone. I started to get real angry with Xander at this point because I was like, stop saying this. Stop telling people you're going to save them because you're not going to save them. Of course, and I'm also confused and I'm like, is he actually going to save Ricard?
No, because
that's bonkers.
He's thinking about, like, he's at least offering some strategic justification for why he would make such a move. As stupid as we may think it is as viewers, like, of course, we're always watching the show and we're always like, never play it for anybody else. Just play it for yourself. Like, do the safe move. Don't be stupid about idols. We've seen so many bad idol plays and it just never goes. Just play it for yourself. You know, nobody's going to blame you for playing it for yourself.
Yeah.
But he's saying things like, this is my chance to show the jury that I'm controlling the votes. And if I could save Ricard and then that sends Deshawn home or whatever, like all of a sudden I'm in control of the game. And it's like, okay, but no, Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a bad read, Xander, if you thought that that was going to be a selling point for your game. But I understand it would show that you were in control because you made the move. I get that.
Sure.
But like I mean, future Survivor players, if you think like, oh, I could do this, I could save them with this, just think about it. Workshop it over to the side by yourself before you tell the person, because he burned a jury vote with this play so hard. Like, ripped it up, set it on fire, jury vote, not going to be yours because you, in an emotional moment, and I really think Ricard was doing this for game. But then Xander also for game was like, maybe I could save you, but that's an empty promise. So that did not play out well for you. I was really kind of frustrated that he tried that.
Yep. But when we get to tribal, it's very clearly Deshawn versus Ricard. Erica is like making some interesting observations about like, this is a really hard decision because Survivor is sometimes the opposite of real life. So if someone can't be trusted, maybe it's best to keep them. And if someone's really loyal, maybe it's best to get rid of them. It really just does speak to like what makes this game so fascinating to like navigate and also watch as a viewer. And, then Ricard again is like hitting this emotional beat of, gosh, I never thought I would be doing this well. Like, I did not imagine I would be here in Final Five. And I'm also missing life. Like, I'm so conflicted about being here. And he kind of reveals to everybody else. He's already told Xander, but he's revealing to everybody else and the jury, the status of his child and his family and all of that stuff. And it feels like a farewell speech.
Yeah, it started to take the course of your last tribal, really getting to talk about yourself, tug on the heartstrings. Whenever we get this, it starts to be a farewell speech. And even Jeff says it. He's like, it's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
We've had great players not win. It happens. Like, it was almost like you'll be all right. It's happened before.
Well, and they cut it together. Again, those editors, good job. You're doing your job. Because as Ricard is, making this plea, they're cutting to like a misty Xander. And then Xander's saying like, we've got this bromance. I really feel for him. And then they've got Jeff saying, I do not think that there's going to be a blindside tonight. Like, you're going. And so then I'm like, oh my God, like, is Jeff going to be surprised because Xander plays the idol for Ricard,
Right. Yeah, I'm still like, what is Xander going to do? But this is feeling like a farewell tribal.
Right.
So yeah, he does call for the idol, and Xander has to stand up and be like, look, this is my last time to use it. So I'm going to use it. And you see like life comes back into Ricard's face, and he's like, oh my gosh. And then dash. And then you see the jury vote burned real quick. He's like, when Xander's like myself, obviously.
Yep. And so it is 4-1. Ricard is out.
Yep.
And, Jeff acknowledges like some of our best players never win. That is the nature of Survivor. And you're a legend, Ricard, even if you're out at Final Five, which is kind of a nice little final note for him,
It was a pretty decent, just like with Shan, we got like a music change, and it was like all of a sudden a movie score for her exit. And similar with Ricard, of like giving him his props, because it's true. Like, we'll have some great players who are really running the game. You have to get them out. And so it's fairly regular that we will have a final without the best player of the game. Right. And that is definitely, what we're going to get here with Ricard leaving. Seth also with a super chat.
$20. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. It wouldn't be a finale night without a barrage of super chats. To our super hosts, thank you, Sarah and David, for everything you do. You make the world a happier, better, nerdier place.
Thank you.
True. Fuzzy. Thank you so much for that.
Well, it's not warm and fuzzy, Sarah. This night of rain. It is pouring on these poor people.
Why were you so obsessed with making it so difficult. You just lost like 12 days. It's not like
Relax.
so they should be tortured.
Right.
It's still a difficult game. My goodness. These poor people. Okay,
Yep.
David, you can attest. We just had a rainy day the other day.
We did. It was really rainy.
We live in Southern California. We get roughly 14 rainy days a year. And we had one. And I was decked out head to toe. I had my hunter boots on, my wellies. I had my hoodie, my umbrella, my coat. I was not going to get touched by this rain when I was outside.
Oh, yeah.
These people are just there.
Soaked. No
They're
tarp.
just sitting on the beach.
No shelter. No, like it seemed like
Nothing.
there weren't even any trees. Like somehow the producers lifted all the trees out and they had there was no escaping the rain. They're literally like trying to, be under a single like palm leaf, and they're like
a leaf.
They're like, "Are you dry at all?" No, I'm not dry at all. There's not one.
Putting your one layer over your head doesn't keep you dry. No. I mean, they already, before it started to rain, just lay down on the sand. Like, I'm already uncomfortable that they're just and plop. And now the storm was heart-wrenching. So what do? You just do nothing. You
just suck it up because you're so close at this point. Like, at least they are going into the next immunity challenge knowing this is the last immunity challenge, because they like walk in and Jeff's like, "How about that rain, guys? Woo, boy, this is the hardest season of Survivor ever, right?" And they're like, "Yes, shut up. Let's get this over with."
Yes.
The last one.
Just like I was leaning out my window, looking at the rain, just like a pitter patter on the roof. How is it for you guys?
They're like, "We don't want to talk about it, Jeff. Just tell us what's happening."
Torture. Oh my gosh. They're going to go into immunity. We've seen this immunity before. Mm-hmm. We're going to stack blocks, spelling out a word. We have to balance.
Yeah.
I got to say, it was only 6 blocks.
6 blocks, but I think, I don't remember the like rocking, the like thing that they're balancing their feet on. Like we've definitely seen the wobbly thing that's holding the word, but usually you're right. It's usually like final tribal immunity or something is the word that they're trying to build. It's like 25 letters, but I do think the like rocking thing, the additional imbalance was new.
So Survivor Australia that just aired over the summer did exactly this with the rocking thing. And they had to do the word immunity, which is not only more letters, but it's also very easy to misspell.
True.
And I thought final, what was it, 3? Whatever the number was.
Yeah.
This is a cakewalk. This is so easy.
Yeah.
But then
so
again,
much
they
for the
slept out in
hardest
the rain.
season ever. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff. Not the hardest season ever.
Yeah. Well, because Xander, I mean, it's not even really close. Xander takes it pretty easily.
And it's always impressive when someone does it without dropping at all. I mean, that's amazing. Way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really good.
And at this moment, got to be honest there, I thought he had it. I was like, well.
You thought he had the win of the season?
I did. He's like, I'm finally taking a breath. He gives Jeff a hug. It's like this moment for Xander.
It is a moment. Yeah.
And I just thought like, wow, final immunity win. He's like rising to the top at the right moment here.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, first season that's like 50% people of color, and we're gonna have another white dude win, which like is whatever. But I was just like, okay, well, I know. But at the same time, I was like, he's on my team. He's on my draft team, so I don't hate it. He was
on your draft team. He is. Look, I thought Xander had a decent chance of winning. I wasn't sold in this moment, but it was nice for him to have this wonderful moment with Jeff. I mean, anybody who dreams about going on the show and actually gets to win an immunity is, they love that. That's great. And then for it to be this one where he gets to now be at Final Tribal.
Yeah.
Amazing. We now go into his segment though, where we get like his childhood content, his previous, like, more information about him, his personal information. This is the first time, though,
The first
we
time.
have gotten
Anything.
Xander's package, his
Yeah.
stuff. And that, again, this edit, I don't know, we can't really go by this edit. It's been a bit wonky, but like that's not a good sign. If
You're
the
right.
finale was the first time that we're going to learn more about you.
You're right. I mean, I don't think we ever learned anything about Heather, but you're right that this is a bit late in the game to be learning anything about Xander.
I don't know. Did we get some? No, I mean, we haven't had like a full package. You're right about Heather. So
No.
yeah. Okay.
But Xander is like in the power position now. He's like pulling people aside to like hear their pitches. And Deshaun and Heather both tell him, Erica can beat you. And Xander pulls Erica aside and she says like 5 words. And he's like, say no more. You're safe. You're coming with me. And he's telling us that he wants to drag Erica to the end so that she doesn't have this fire-making move on her resume. And I'm like, I think you might be underestimating the rest of her game compared to yours.
Big time, buddy. Big underestimations that are happening right now. And it was really interesting to see both Deshaun and Heather say, if anyone can beat you, it's Erica.
Yeah.
And then him go, great, I'll take her. I do understand. I don't want to give her a winning moment. I do get that. But I think there was a little bit of either ego or just a little bit of obliviousness. Like he just didn't see it. He definitely had to downplay. Like I know he was trying to look dumb and like he was downplaying his role so that he wouldn't look like an Aussie. But I think he fell for Erica doing similarly. Like, I don't think Erica does it on purpose. She just automatically has looked like she's not a threat. And I think he fell for that.
Well, and he apparently had like talked himself up in his head about like Erica was at this separate island. She's definitely good at making fire. I don't want to like send someone who's like a known fire maker into the fire making challenge. Then she's practicing and he's like, you're the worst one. Like, what? And so at that point, he's considering, wait, do I say that I'm bringing Heather, then give the immunity necklace to Deshaun, and I take Erica out in the fire making challenge? And maybe you should have done that.
Honestly, yeah.
But, you know,
that
he's considering
maybe, I mean, this whole segment was so confusing. Minnesota girl, thank you so much for the super chat. Erica deserved the win. If only Xander had a clue as far as reading his threats or sell his game. He even got an assist. He could have had a chance. I don't know how much of a chance he could have had, but maybe
his only chance was if he had gone to the fire making thing and taken out Erica in that moment, I think.
Look, not taking Erica would have been one step towards possibly winning. Taking her out with fire would have probably cemented his win. But I personally would never risk going to fire myself. I'm never taking that necklace off. I don't care. No. I would have reverted back to, okay, well then I'll just let Erica. I mean, honestly, Erica, just let her try to defeat Deshaun. Like, just let her. Mm-hmm. Even though he's like watching her and he's mugging to the camera, which thank you. I appreciate it. I love it. Thank you for those faces where he's like to Erica's fire. Change it. Be like, oh, then she go up against Deshaun. Like maybe she's not that big of a thing, but I don't think he wanted Deshaun at final 3. I don't know.
Yeah. He wanted Deshaun out for sure. He was completely underestimating Erica's game for sure. But we go to
and overestimating Heather's game?
Her ability to make fire for sure. I mean, again, they were working in that edit, like showing us Deshaun struggling. And Heather's like, ooh, fire here, fire there. I just hit the flint one time and there's a fire. Like they're showing us Heather as like this, fire goddess. And I'm like, really? Okay, well,
I know.
maybe
I was
Heather's
like,
gonna
I'm
make
here for it,
fire.
Heather. Sure, go
Yeah.
for it. Let's
Yeah.
go. All right. So we're confused at this point. We're going into this final or not this final tribal, but we're going into this tribal where we think he might take Erica or he might try to do fire with Erica. We're not sure what Xander's doing. And I don't really trust the way that he thinks at this point.
Well, and he basically is just like I just kept saying like, Xander, shut up, stop talking, because he's just showing the jury how poorly he's reading the game over and over again. He's
Seriously?
like, I watched at the last tribal council, like Deshawn said something and the jury all made faces. And so clearly the jury doesn't respect Erica's game. And if they don't respect Erica's game, they definitely don't respect Heather's game. And they're all murmuring to each other like, that's a horrible read. Like, what?
Yeah. He was like, they loved Deshawn's truth bomb. And literally their faces are like,
yeah. Who loved that?
Who? Yeah, I think clearly, I mean, what you're saying right now, Xander, are you looking at the jury's faces now? Because they are showing you that this is not adding up. This is not actually, I mean, he's like, Heather's not a goat. I honestly was like, Xander, are you fibbing? Are you lying right now to present some sort of image? Like, are you trying to make people see a certain way? Because just unfortunately, it looks like you are not in control of your game or the game at this point.
That's right. Yep. Horrible reads.
Oh my gosh. Bruce, another super chat. Thank you.
Guys, stop. I mean, don't stop, but this is overwhelming.
Bruce says, thank you for pointing out strategies for all the players throughout the season, all while being entertaining. You're welcome.
Thanks, Bruce. Thank you. So Xander does not make any kind of grand move here. He just decides to spout a bunch of poor reads on the game and then make the worst move, which is to bring Erica with him and make Deshawn and Heather make fire. But I gotta say, bless him for doing this, because this was an amazing fire making challenge.
This was amazing. Fire. It was so funny because I know a lot of people do not like this fire challenge, and I mean, I'm okay with it, but I really don't like the way that it was brought in. Like, this was the reason Chrissy didn't win the game, and I'm very upset about that.
Never forget.
But no, never forget. But we are now to a point where it's finally interesting and entertaining, at least from my perspective. Like, I mean, who would have thunk it? But all of a sudden, Deshawn's fire is out, and Heather's is literally singeing the little rope. Like, how it did not break.
I know. I mean, I was watching it and I'm like, Heather, blow at the top of the flame, because the top of her flame kind of was like all over the place, and it wasn't really consistently burning that rope, which is really what ended up taking her down. But it was crazy how you could see it all happening. Like, you see there's way too many sticks on Deshawn's fire. Like, and Shan's saying like, he's smothering it. That thing is gone. And that's exactly what happens. Heather's got this like full blown blaze happening, and like, the rope is singeing, and it really feels like this is the moment, whenever you see those fibers start to catch fire, you just know, like, it's only a matter of seconds before it happens. And then all of a sudden her flame starts to die down, and out of nowhere, Deshawn gets this amazing column of fire, Sarah. It is like the most targeted flame directly up to his rope. I'm like, how is he doing this? And it is a photo finish. This is maybe the closest it's ever been.
It was so insane. And I honestly felt like there was wind or survivor gods literally blowing on Deshawn's fire, because we saw Heather's fire singeing that rope for way too long without it snapping, and Deshawn's just singed it for just a little bit of time, and then his flag flies up, and then hers flies up right afterwards. I mean, it was just like, I guess this was meant to be, because that doesn't make logical sense to me whatsoever.
I know.
Insane, but so exciting for us.
So exciting. And the jury was like, oh my God, that was amazing. Like, best fire making challenge ever. Like, we have seen the painful fire making challenges where they literally have to give them matches to start a fire because they run out of flint, So the fact that these two were so neck and neck, and it was back and forth. Like the producers were like, "This is a dream. Thank
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. At one point I was like, I would run and get some of the like leaves around us, the greenery if I could,
Yeah.
because like I was like, did Heather run out of kindling? Like what can she
Kindling, maybe.
grab to
Yeah.
like keep it, like get it bigger? But it's
Mhm.
probably illegal. And
Yeah.
wow, really, really exciting. But we do end up with what we assumed was going to happen. Deshawn is going to beat Heather here at Fire. And y'all, the fact that we got these three
I know.
really is really like fascinating and impressive to me, because we have taken out Ricard, who was,
Yes.
he would have taken all the votes, and we've taken out Heather, who was going to clearly get 0 votes. So for these three who have all made moves, none of them really like ran the show, but they were definitely involved in stuff, have a case to make. This is a really fascinating final three.
It really is. And it ends up being like a really fascinating final tribal Q&A in terms of the balance of it. Like there tends to be, one person where they're like, we're not taking you seriously, so we're just going to talk about these two. But they really gave attention to everybody and consideration to all three of these people. So it was exciting to have these three at this final tribal. Evie sort of, do you disagree?
I mean, well, no, I think all three got equal attention, but I felt like one person was getting a lot of like, great job, whereas the other two were like, what were you thinking?
True. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
But I loved that, just like production wise, I love that we got to this final tribal pretty quick. Like we didn't dwell on the breakfast. We didn't dwell on, a whole long package for each of this final three. Like we get it. We know what they did. Got it. Let's go and get a Q&A from the jury. So I did like that.
Yeah. Evie starts off with just kind of like, flowers to all of you. Like, good job, good job. And then Danny, I really loved Danny's first question about like, there are periods in this game, pre-merge, post-merge, final 8. Like, what is your strategy? You've got to like adapt over the course of this game. What game did you come in wanting to play and what game did you end up playing, which is like always different. You come in with a plan and then you've got to change it. And, Xander's like, I came in guns blazing, wanted to make risks and then take risks. And then, I had to be a number because Yasa got decimated. And at the merge, I just had to be like, use me. And, Deshawn talks about his relationships and he was the glue that held Luvu together. And Sarah, I've never seen so many arched eyebrows in my life.
Yeah, buddy. It's real tough when you're selling something that's just not true. And the jury knows it's not true. So it would be better if you could sell something else. But that was all he could hang his hat on. And they were like, no, that's not accurate. Oh, David, you are frozen or am I frozen? Oh, no. You guys, I'm going to continue on because I think David is frozen, but sometimes that means I'm actually frozen. I wanted... Oh, are you coming back?
Am I back?
You are.
Did I freeze?
Yes, I think you froze. I was like, or am I frozen? But you froze. Okay.
It went black. And so I kept talking and I was like, I don't know what's happening.
I was like, I'll keep talking. That's the way it goes. David, I was going to say that I wanted more. Like, yes, this was fine. It was balanced. It was, we heard from everybody, but I wanted more. And I just wanted to hear more. We didn't really hear, like, Xander didn't even get to say, hey, my best move was the whole thing with Liana. And, for Erica to say, my best move was when I got Liana out because the vote was going to fall back on me. Like, I wanted to hear more specifics. And I feel like they were probably edited out for time, but probably because Danny asked such a darn good question that it just led them into a sort of great recap and
Yeah.
overall statement.
Yeah.
And Erica just slam dunked it. Like she spoke
did.
about her game just kind of beautifully.
Well, and she had support, again, like Ricard, they gave Ricard a lot of camera time in this final thing. Like they were really like, you were really good, Ricard. We're gonna like give you some of the time that you deserve at this final tribal. And he's basically saying, like, Erica, I'm trying to rally the troops for you here. Like, you need to sell yourself. I've been telling them all that you deserve to win, and they don't get it. So you need to tell them what made you so good. And so, she gets the chance to say, like, I'm sorry that I don't know all of you that well, but really, I was not able to play that game. That is not who I am. Like, I focus more on like really strong individual relationships, not like decent relationships with every single person. So like, hit me up later, but that's just not the game that I was capable of. And so I played the game that I could. And here I am,
Russell Hantz, you are saying Xander is the greatest player not to win. I would say Ricard might be one of the greatest not to win if we were just talking about this cast. But that is very nice of you to give it to Xander. For sure. Oh, Erica beats you? Oh, that is also very nice of you to say about Erica.
Wow.
That's good. Thank you for letting us know that. I like that.
Yes, appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Ricard was like, look, I've only been here a day and you didn't make these relationships. But I really did appreciate the way that Erica said, look, I didn't become best friends with you and then cut you, like that's kind of what she was saying of like, I can't do that. So I didn't do that. And I think that there are some people who can sit on a jury and appreciate that.
Well, yeah. And speaking of, building a relationship and then cutting someone, it's like the jury then, after Ricard's like, Erica, make your case, then they take 2 quick stabs at Xander. Leander is like, Xander, did you ever have a good read on the game? And he's like,
what's a read?
What do you mean by that? And she's like, here's an example. So I knew this. Did you know anything like that? And he's like,
Oh boy. Okay. The fact that made the edit, you're like, oh, this isn't going to go well for Xander.
No. And then Ricard is like, hand me the knife, Liana. So Xander, you faked our relationship. And Xander's like, no, like, what are you talking about? No. And, Xander's just basically now finding himself in a position where he's trying to like claw back and be like, no, remember, like, I'm good at this game, I promise. And they're like, no.
I would have liked to hear more from Xander because I am someone who did think that he was better at the game than people were giving him credit for. To find out that like most of the jury thought of him as a GOAT is like, what? I just didn't see that. I think that he was smarter than he was letting on. But, here we are and the edit's not giving us those points. So either he didn't share them or they just didn't believe it. So it wasn't going to happen and it doesn't make the edit. You know what I mean? And the other vibe, besides the fact that they're like, Erica, you're great, is Deshawn, we're not so sure about you.
Deshawn, like straight up, like, Deshawn, did you use Black Lives Matter as some sort of like tool to rally us for your own, ends? And he's like, no, absolutely not like that, and he acknowledges, which I thought was like good of him, to be fair. He's basically like, absolutely not that hurt. So you would even say that, but I have to own that it came off that way. But I'm telling you, no, like he really was like very level-headed and like addressing that and being clear about like, that is not what happened. I'm sorry that it came off that way.
And so that's wonderful that made it in the edit, because that's a big thing. Like he doesn't want the culture to like to have a backlash, and so for him to be able to address that and for them to clear the air, and it really did feel like Shan was like, we're good. I'm not voting for you, but we're good, is how I felt like Shan was sort of saying there.
And then it all ends with Danny being like, Erica, you made people underestimate you. And that's the game that I wanted to play. And like everybody else in the jury was like, yeah, me too. We all wanted to play that game. And it's like, okay.
Whoa, that's huge when the jury is like, you played the game we want to play. We wanted to play. And I think like Danny saying that, I can see that. I was like, yeah, that is kind of how Danny was like, I'm going to try to like lay back a little bit. I'm not a professional athlete. What are you talking about? Like that kind of stuff. And so it was really lovely for him to say that. But again, now we are pretty clear on who's winning this, who the jury is liking at this point. I said that I thought that Erica was going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 votes, and that I thought Deshawn might get 2. I thought Deshawn might get Danny and Nasir's, and that Erica was going to get everybody else's at this point. You thought it was going to be Erica Xander at this point.
I thought it was going to be Erica or Xander. I just felt like Deshawn didn't get any props during that Q&A, and Xander at least got some like, okay, you won some immunities, and yes, you like took risks, and you know, you were like playing from the bottom at some point. And I thought when Danny voted, I thought he was voting for Xander because he was like, yours was like a high risk game and felt very intentional. And I thought that he was talking about Xander in that moment, but he was not.
I was like, he thinks Deshawn played a high risk game. But I think he did. I mean, I don't know. They probably have put online, or maybe they're waiting for the West Coast airing, but I'm assuming Danny is the one vote for Deshawn.
Oh, really? I thought it might have been Nasir.
But it could have been Nasir for sure. Yeah. Maybe Danny did go with the like, Erica, you played the game I wanted to play.
I thought he was talking about Xander when he said that, but like looking back at the tribal now and him saying, Erica, you played my game. How could you not vote for Erica at that point? Like that was what you thought was the winning game. You thought that game was going to win it for you. So how can you not give it to Erica, you know?
Yeah. How could you not? Yeah. Maybe. I mean, Nasir's the one that gave Xander props, but I was like, I don't think he's voting for Xander. I think he's
just being nice.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, it had to been either Danny or Nasir for sure. Neil is saying that according to Wiki, it is Danny, but Wiki could be guessing just like me. So we'll see.
We'll see.
But that's where I would put the money. I don't know. Jeff's going to read out the votes, and Xander got zip. Xander did turn out to be the one Deshaun with no votes.
Oh no.
And he just got the one that Deshaun.
Almost unanimous. That would have been crazy.
I'm shocked that it was this close to unanimous. I thought it was going to be, I mean, going in before I heard anything, I thought it was going to be, all 3 of them were going to get votes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I don't know if Xander's going to get votes. Yeah. So I'm surprised that Erica won it by all the votes but one. And Jeff's like, hey, guess what? Another twist. And they're all like, wait a minute.
They're like, what? Jeff, no.
What twist can you do at this point? And he's like, you guys are going to have the winner right now. They were so shook. They were excited, but also like, Erica's starving. And she's not because she got steak. But Deshawn is starving. And he's like, champagne and pizza. Let's sit here and chat. And then this whole thing was hilarious to me because Jeff's like hosting a show, but then he's like, who else needs pizza? Bring it on in, guys. You want some more? Nasir, tell me how you felt on the beach. It was a lot. I was like, what?
I know, like the whole like his like transition to commercial breaks were like, who needs more pizza? More refills? Okay, let's bring it in and we'll be right back. And then they'd come back. And I did love when there was one like, you know, mid conversation, like pizza refill. And he's like, Tiffany, question for you. And someone's like offering her pizza. She's like, I'm good for now. She's like, I'm not going to eat on camera.
Yeah. She's like, this is my moment. He's not going to call on me again. So, I mean, this was, I appreciated this. I enjoyed this. It was only a half an hour. It wasn't drawn out with a bunch of like other stuff. So I did enjoy this, even with the like silliness of like pizza and champagne. But I felt like we got decent sound bites for everybody, and people talked about lessons and growing, which is a wonderful thing. I think overall this cast was just so lovely that they're able to take some, not so great moments and really sort of spin it to the positive.
Mm-hmm. It's just, I mean, it's a different reunion show than we're used to because they've had no time to process. Deshaun is still clearly very upset and like having a hard time. And Ricard is like acknowledging, like, I'm still working through this. But Deshaun specifically was a little glum to me.
Yeah.
And he was just like, Jeff was trying to like be jazzy Jeff, like, hey, Deshaun, like, you did all this, you got one vote, Deshaun. And Deshaun's like, yeah, I got one vote, Jeff. Like, I'm not happy.
That's hard to process.
Right now.
It is. Yeah. Usually the people who get 1 to 0 votes don't get talked to after that point. They've already been spoken to. So now he has to be like, only one person voted for me. And then poor Xander has to be like, yeah, I did not see that Erica would win. I brought her and I did not see that. Like, he's in the moment, like living like, whoa.
Xander handled it better than I think Deshaun did, because Xander's like, I'm so glad that I'm not a complete person and that I get to grow and learn, and I'm 20. And Deshaun's like, I was trying to win this for the culture and I didn't.
I mean, Deshaun said something too about it, and I too, and I will take this and I will grow. But yeah, it was
what Xander said.
There's a lot of growth to be had here. Glenda, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you. We love you, Glenda.
Better late than never, I say. Yay to Erica. Remember the days when we all said, Erica who? We sure did. Thanks, Sarah and David, for another amazing recap this season. Let's talk about this edit. Let's talk about this edit. I know that I have
reminded us before, but Sarah, you got to call that friend of yours and apologize, who said Erica's my winner pick, and we were like, eye roll. Oh my God, what show are you watching? Your friend was
David, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to tweet to him right now. Like, what? I'm going to text him. I forgot about that. I'm kind of angry now that he called the winner and I didn't see it. That's on me. That is on me. I was like, he must not know how to watch these shows like David and I do. He just said Erica is the winner. What?
Does he know which one Erica is?
How does he even know who Erica is? She hasn't done anything. What? Oh my God. Thank you for reminding me about that. Joseph, also with a super chat.
Thank you, Joseph,
for your recaps and entertaining us this season. I think Erica is the first Canadian to win Survivor USA. True. She absolutely is.
You are correct.
That is right. Look, part of the reason I couldn't see it with Erica was her edit.
And you couldn't see her literally.
She wasn't in all the episodes, y'all. And a part of me wants to say Survivor, do better with women, because I think that is a part of it. But the other part is, I mean, she said I was going to lay low. I was going to be underestimated in the beginning.
Yeah.
And, that can give us a lay low in the beginning edit. So
that is exactly what she did. And like the way she described her game of like, she never got a chance to go to tribal when she was on Louisville. Right. Let's be clear about that. That's part of the reason we didn't see much of her. And then once we got to the merge, she was a target. So we're not seeing her being a strategic mastermind. She's clearly on the outs. But the time when her game shifted was when she flipped the game and then all of a sudden aligned with those people who were on the bottom and eventually found herself in a position to have numbers with that group that was like on the bottom once they started to, I think once they got Shan out, is when she started to really make moves.
She said in this final tribal, she was like, Shan's one of the few people who did see it in me. And that's why I had to get her out. And so then at that moment I said, okay, well, if Shan saw it, then I need to see it, editors. She did something happened. Yeah. Why didn't we see that? When she broke that hourglass, I said I don't know if it was a ratings recap or with you, but I said like, great, this is her time. She's going to scoop up those people. Let's see it. And then she was not in the next episode edit. And I was very upset about that. Assumed she was doing nothing. But now I'm assuming she didn't do nothing, and that's where I want to say
Well,
do
and
better.
the tough part is that, like, to me, from what we saw, it really only seemed like Shan was targeting Erica because Erica was throwing Shan's name out because Shan was running it. And
Right?
Erica was like,
No,
Shan's
she gotta
running it.
go.
And so then
Yeah.
Shan was like, she's got to go. You know, it
Yeah.
wasn't like Shan was looking at her like, ooh, she is like, she's doing something. She's bringing people in and forming alliances. And yikes, I got to watch out for her. It literally was just like, Erica said my name, so Erica has to go. And then
Yeah.
Erica kind of did the same thing. We're like, Shan's coming for me, so I need to get Shan out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think it was. I was like, why are you going after Erica, Shan? But
Yeah.
it was because Erica knew Shan was a target, and that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not so sure about this edit. But Cornelius, I am sure about you. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Thank you. You guys.
Y'all are the best. Keep it up. You're the best, Cornelius. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for all these super chats. So generous.
Oh my God. I can't believe you reminded me that Brad said that. I got to call Brad. I got to wait for him to watch the West Coast. He's not even watched it yet. So, but
I know all my friends who are watching the West Coast feed currently, we were texting this morning and one person said Erica's going to win it. And I was like, you're crazy. It's Ricard. And everyone else was like, it's Xander. And my friend texted again and was like, when Erica wins this, y'all are going to text me and you're going to be like, you were right. And I'm like, now I have to do that.
Now you have to do it too.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't. Like, it was clearly Erica if it wasn't going to be Ricard. Come on, David. Yeah,
but I thought it was Ricard. I was the one saying like it's going to be Ricard.
Ricard could have won it. He could have done it. But
if he'd found that advantage,
it gave Erica an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that if that advantage did not exist, or anyone else found it, even probably, I think Ricard still would have pulled it out because he would have won that puzzle. Yeah. Well, I loved the season. This cast was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Obviously, we saw a preview for 42. That will be in the spring. I believe it's March that it's going to air. I don't know. They're trying to make it harder. I don't know. It's going to probably be very similar to this one because they shot it right afterwards. They didn't have any feedback. So if you were upset about anything this season, prepare yourself.
That we already know
in this one.
We're going to see more of the phrases. Like someone's reading the thing and she's like, potatoes have skin and I have skin. Am I a potato? Like, it's more ridiculous phrases.
You guys, I am as confused as a goat on AstroTurf. What? Potatoes and skin. I'm here for it. I loved it. I love those sayings. It was the best. Loved it so much.
Yeah.
But before Survivor 42, you guys, we have a few things. First being The Amazing Race, season 33? 32?
I think that's right.
Oh my God, I've lost the numbers.
33.
Season 33 premieres January 5th. The cast has been announced. David and I will get a cast assessment out to you. Probably next week.
I think next week. Yeah.
And then we will have the premiere January 5th. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have exit interviews. So stay tuned with us for that in the new year. Then obviously Celebrity Big Brother Canada, Big Brother Canada. I will be watching Survivor Australia in the spring. Don't think that we'll be able to cover it necessarily, but maybe. I don't know. There's going to be a lot come new year. So just stay tuned. Make sure you get those notifications happening so that you know what we're up to, because we're going to have a lot. Very exciting. And actually this weekend, David, we're going to do a little holiday game, something.
I know. I thought we were going to be in person for it, but we'll have to figure that out. But we're going to do a fun holiday game this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully we can be in person, but that is TBD on that. But we're still going to do fun holiday stuff this weekend.
Yes.
And then obviously we still have Bachelorette going on. So
we're recapping that tomorrow, right?
We are recapping that tomorrow, and the finale is next week. So
by the way, I'll save it for the Bachelorette recap.
Oh, okay. Yes. All right. Yay!
Tune in tomorrow to find out what I was going to say.
That's right. You guys in the chat with us all season long. We love you. We appreciate you. You guys are so fun, keeping us on our toes.
And
Really,
giving us
really
super
appreciate you guys.
chats.
And
My
yes, oh my
goodness.
gosh,
Thank
all
you
the
guys
super
for
chats
those.
tonight.
If anybody wants to just like throw one last one in, we won't stop you. But for those of us who are joining us later, you can't give us a super chat. You can't support us on Patreon. And you can also leave us a comment, please. That helps the channel, helps us with the algorithm and all that. So let us know your thoughts on, everybody's end game here. Specifically, I think Xander kind of fumbled the end game more than anybody. What do you think of that? Erica's win. Is Ricard one of the greatest to never win? Do you agree with Russell that Xander is the best player that has never won Survivor now? Give us all your thoughts.
It's a big statement from Russell.
Yeah.
Seeing as how he thinks he's the best to never win.
That's right.
That is a big old statement. I think that's it, you guys. I also want to say thank you to our mods in the chat. I really appreciate all the work that you guys do.
Yeah.
Every video. So thank you, you guys. Have a wonderful night. Go to sleep if you're on the East Coast. Party all night if you're on the West Coast or wherever you are.
Yep.
We appreciate it, and we will see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.